So I got a question for people who are labeled conspiracy theories. Now I'm actually being serious. I'm not just trying to be a dick about this. If you do believe in this, first of all, where in where the people who believe that Donald Trump is going to be reinstated on August 13th? Where in the Constitution does it say that that's happening? There's nothing that says that a former president or someone who isn't president can be instated as president. You have to be elected president, or you get to the presidency through the line of succession, like vice president, and then the other secretaries of whatever. And second, and I'm more addressing this aspect. Why do some of you people think that John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be the vice president of the United States with Trump? I hate to inform y'all, but John F. Kennedy Jr. died. He's dead. He's been dead for 22 years. I think he died when I was like 6. I just turned 6 at the time. Yeah, I was 99. I was 6 years. I turned 6 years old in 99. Because I think I was born July 5th of 93, and then in 99 he died. I think he died in a plane crash. He was the pilot, and he died on July 23rd, 99. I'll have to look it up. He died with his wife and I think his sister-in-law. Can't remember, but there was like 2 other people in the plane with him. I think he got like disoriented, like some pilots do. Like that's what you get when you fly at night. And you regularly sleep during the day. Anyway, he's dead. He is dead. And some people say, oh, he faked his own death or the government's lying. First, why would he fake his own death? I'm not saying it's never happened, but most famous people don't fake their own death because, one, they have no reason to, because that means they don't have access to all that money they have, and 2, it's very difficult for a famous person to fake their own death. Most of the cases of people faking their own deaths are either criminals, like Whitey Bulger, or more like going into hiding. He didn't really fake his death, he just went into hiding. Or criminals or people who are just stressed, like poor people who are just stressed and they just want to go live with someone else. Or live somewhere else on a new identity. But you see, it's very difficult for a rich person who is very well known. Like, it's easy for some nobody. Like, if I faked my own death, nobody would notice me. Unless I either went to Arizona, where my mother's family is, or Georgia, where most of my family, friends, and even people I went to high school with live. Like, no one would notice because I'm not important. But John F. Kennedy Jr., it would be damn near impossible because, 1, he's famous, he's rich, and 2, he's the son of the President Kennedy. That dude has had the spotlight on him since his dad won the presidency, and he said, we're preparing for a new life in the White House and a new baby. He was like, I think he was like born November 23rd or something like that. Like his dad had just been elected president, and he was born while he president-elect. Yeah. The dude has had the spotlight on him since he was born. It would be very difficult for him to fake his own death. Second, why would he fake his own death? Why? They don't provide any motives. They just say he faked his own death. Why? And where's your evidence? Where's your evidence that he faked his own death? Have you seen the pictures of the crash? Like, you're saying he faked his own death, therefore his wife faked his own death and his sister-in-law faked his own death? And last thing, John F. Kennedy Jr. was a Democrat, the son of Democratic President John F. Kennedy Sr. Donald Trump is a monster fascist of the Republican Party. While John F. Kennedy Jr., if he were alive today, or he may not be as left as me, or Bernie, or Kyle Kalinske, or AOC, he was still a liberal. Democrat, just like his father and his mother and his sister. Maybe more left-leaning than his father, but definitely not. But probably not as left as me. Why would he align himself with Donald Trump? Hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind being vice president of the United States, but I wouldn't do it if it means being the vice president of the United States with a Republican president. The only, like, literally the only, we've only had, like, the only time we've ever had a president and vice president of two different parties was for 4 years in the 1790s, and that was only with John Adams, the Federalist, and Thomas Jefferson, Vice President, the Democrat Republican, only because the laws at the time said whoever wins the presidency gets to be president, and whoever gets the second most votes gets to be vice president. And then they changed that by 1804. Yeah. So there's your questions. What part of the Constitution says that Donald Trump will be reinstated? What makes you think John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive? Why would he fake his own death? Where's your evidence that they faked his own death? And even if he was still alive, oh, another one. Why would he come back now after 22 years? And 6, what makes you think a Democrat, would align with Donald Trump? Seriously, folks, can you please put down the conspiracy theories? Take off the tinfoil hat. Stop listening to Alex Jones. Stop listening to that woman that this originally started with. He's like, oh yeah, JFK Jr. is going to be president. Oh really? He's dead. Nope, he's alive. Stop listening. I'm not saying you have to believe everything the government tells you, but if it sounds a little crazy, Occam's razor, it's bad shit. Please, people, I'm asking you. Stop believing conspiracy theories. Here's the thing. I don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy simply because the government told me. I would be a sheep. And you would be right to say that. But I believe that Oswald did alone because I looked at the evidence. I looked at all the clues and just... Like, the most I can come up with is Lee Harvey Oswald had, like, an accomplice that got away, or more like how Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris used Robin Anderson to buy them the guns they used at Columbine. Maybe that's what he did. Maybe Lee Harvey Oswald had this guy who, I don't know, just... Lee Harvey Oswald was a narcissistic egomaniac, and his psychological profile fit that of a guy. But anyway, I don't believe that I don't believe what the government tells me simply because what the government tells me. I believe it because, hey, their story matches the evidence. And as someone who grew up on CSI, Gil Grissom, he said the evidence never lies. John F. Kennedy, Donald Trump is not coming back. John F. Kennedy Jr. is dead, and even if he wasn't, he would not be reinstated as the vice president, and he definitely wouldn't be with Donald Trump. Y'all need to accept. Donald Trump is not coming back, at least before 2025, and JFK Jr. is dead. Thank you for coming for my TED Talk. I'm going to go get some lunch. May the force be with y'all.